Well, we arrived at the MCG today asking serious questions around whether India was prepared to fight to keep the Border Gavaskar Trophy Series alive, and the answer that we got today was pretty emphatic. Sam Jordan from 9 News, joined by Dan Breddick from The Age. Dan, so much pressure on India today. For the most part, they stood up.
Yeah, well, Nitin Kumar Reddy had been making solid contributions all the way through the series. Today he's made a massive one, made his first Test 100, delighted the majority Indian crowd here on day three.
And a few loose Australian supporters that are here as well.
Just into the bargain, yes. Really put Australia onto the back foot after they got a couple of wickets early in the day and thought that they would be batting quite soon. I think a lot of people came here today hoping to see Sam Constant bat. Yeah. They were left waiting all day, and now he's got a bat tomorrow.
Well, it certainly looked that way when Rishabh Pant got out this morning. It was an extraordinary 2 deliveries. You thought he might have learned his lesson from playing a style of ramp hook shot where he was, I guess, going down off his feet on both occasions. The first one hit him in the stomach, and it certainly got a big reaction from the crowd. He went for it again the very next ball, which might have been even fuller from Scott Boland, and it was a pretty embarrassing way to get out.
Well, it's the flip side to what we saw on day one with Sam Constant. You know, those shots can look fantastic when they go well, but if everyone's looking for them, the bowlers are going to bowl a length that's, in Scott Boland's case, you know, his natural length that's going to make it hard to score, and Australia have set the field for it. You're going to get the sort of reaction that happened to Rishabh Pant's dismissal, including, you know, Sunny Gavaskar, you know, being very strong about it in the commentary box, and really a sense that it was a bit of a wasted opportunity for Rishabh because, you know, by the metrics of the day, the ball was moving around less than pretty much any other day in the series. So it was an opportunity to bat, and that's what Washington Sundar and NKR then did.
We've seen Kumar Reddy throughout this series be very reliable with the bat. He has been incredibly consistent so far across the series, but this was the day where the 21-year-old made his name. What a special century.
Yeah, it was terrific, and it shows you how much outrageous talent there is in the Indian system. You know, as we're seeing a bit of hand-wringing in deciding on, you know, how long's Rohit Sharma going to go for, how long's Virat Kohli going to go for, the talent that is available to the Indian selectors is just enormous now. And, you know, that's a relatively recent development in the history of Indian cricket when the BCCI and national talent spotters started to look at players from all the country, not just the big cities. And, you know, NKR is another example of that. He has played with great maturity all the way through the series. And yeah, in Washington Sundar, someone who made a huge contribution at the back end of the 2021 series and helped India win that series in Brisbane. They were a really frustrating combination for Australia.
Well, that's certainly the way that Australian supporters know Sundar as well, is with frustration. He certainly dug in there. Beautiful moments with NKR's dad sitting on the fence as well. That is one of the great MCG moments that we have seen for a visiting team over the years. It was an extraordinary moment.
Yeah, it was, and it all happened kind of in the nick of time as the rain closed in for a second time this afternoon, and for the final time to end the day early. It had a real, you know, there was a real sort of Coliseum atmosphere going at the MCG this afternoon. Actually reminded me a little bit of the crowd when India played Pakistan here in the T20 World Cup in 2022 and Virat Kohli got going. The walls of noise greeting NKR when he was reaching the boundary or reaching his century, it really was something to behold.
Even Mohammad Siraj, when he did manage to block out 3 deliveries when he came to the crease, it was an extraordinary moment and a big atmosphere as well. It's worth noting now that through 3 days, the crowd has been 255,000. The record for a test match is 270, so that is going to get blown apart with 300 now in the crosshairs, thanks largely to the fact as well that the test match is looking like it will go into a 5th day. Dan, Australia's bowlers just couldn't find that breakthrough and they really looked for it, and it looked like they got frustrated out there at times today. What did you make of the way that they went about it?
I think they were reckoning with the fact that the conditions were easier. They're also reckoning with the fact that we're into the 4th test of 5. We know that the records of Australia's, you know, big 3 fast bowlers, including the injured Josh Hazlewood, do tail off as the series goes on. Mitchell Stark's probably the one who tails off the most. He looked to be a bit sore today, looked to be grabbing for his back a little bit, which you know, wasn't a good sign for Australia. Pat Cummins persisted pretty well, and, you know, obviously was involved in capitalising on the break when Nathan Lyon finally got an outside edge off Washington Sundar's bat. Yeah, it was a tough day for Australia, and a tough day that they really wouldn't have expected to have at the start of the day, or even when they'd taken the first couple of wickets pretty quickly.
So India's still trailing by 116 runs. We'll leave it with this question, Dan, is that do Australia need to change their approach from what they may have had in their minds when they go out to bat tomorrow? 2 days still to go. India's given themselves a chance to fight for a draw in this test.
Well, the thing that Australia are going to need now is making runs really quickly. They know with the conditions on this pitch that they're going to need, quite a lot of overs, 110, 120 overs perhaps. That's going to put the onus back on the Sam Constuses, the Travis Heads to score really quickly on day 4. We could be in for some quite exciting cricket as Australia try to build up that third innings lead over India, because they know, obviously, with the weather that we may expect in Sydney, they don't want to go to Sydney with the scoreline at 1-1. They want to get a win here, and so that's going to be a big influence on how they play things tomorrow.
Never a dull moment in this Border Gavaskar Trophy. Thanks for watching. We will be back again tomorrow with a Day 4 recap to bring you all the latest in this Boxing Day test.